My name's Peter Stevens, and behind me is a car that I designed back at the end of 1980s, beginning of 1990s. It's Jaguar XJR-15 as it's known, but in fact what we're standing in front of is the first prototype, which at this time was just called TWR R9R, because Tom Walkinshaw didn't have approval from Jaguar that it should be a Jaguar. All the others that we've got here, you'll see are called Jaguar Sport XJR-15. But because Tom was somewhat loose with owning up to Jaguar that he was doing the project, but what's nice is that what happened then was that the guy who was chairman of Jaguar said, no, don't call it, TWR R9R. Call it a Jaguar, because that's what we're doing winning them all with Jaguars, So it was great. So the kind of name came about in a way that's not usual for naming a car. This is the first road-going car that had a carbon composite monocoque tub before any other. But also the body is a mixture of carbon and carbon Kevlar for the panels. And again, for a road-going car, that was a unique situation. I mean, it's fascinating to kind of see them gathered together, the most that we've gathered together. And it's a weird feeling for a designer, because when I look at the car, I remember what went into each and every bit of it, so to speak. And there are two things that can happen. Either you become kind of embarrassingly overwhelmed with modesty and you say, well, yeah, it was all right, blah, 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 or you take delight in the fact that they still look all right, and I don't mean that lightly, but it's kind of what I wanted, that it would be timeless to a degree, and that pleases me, that the bits I was most pleased at the time, I still am. I don't look at it and think, why did I do that? But also what's fun is how much the guys who own them now enjoy them. The orange one, the guy flew across from America just for this weekend to be able to drive it here. And when he got out of the car, he was exploding with enthusiasm and delight and disbelief that he'd driven this car on this track at this event, and it was just great to see, actually. There's a detail which is fun with these cars, and the people who now own them love it, and that is that part of that kind of Le Mans experience is that it's loud inside. But we wanted that the one driving it could talk to his passenger, and so there was an intercom that came with the cars where you got the headphones and the microphone, and they could talk to each other. And a friend of mine who has one in America, he loves the fact that his 10-year-old son is in there, and they're kind of sharing the experience, like with the headphones that you would have done, because at Le Mans the drivers all had the earphones in the helmet.
It's the R9R. It's the XJR-15 prototype, built in 89-90, or finished in 1990. It was the car Tom Walkinshaw brought to being, and it's a prototype for the first car before they did the XJR-15. A 6-litre V12 Jaguar engine, naturally aspirated, putting out about 450 brake horsepower. So, to the rear wheels, which is all quite exciting, really. She's just a beautiful car. I'd never seen one before I bought it. Came across it on the internet. I was looking at classic cars on the internet about 7 years ago, and fell in love with the car. So after a bit of hard work, we flew over to Belgium, looked at the car, and bought the car. We're very fortunate to have it. So quite a rare car now. I've heard it saying it's very visceral. It's very raw. The best car you would ever hope to drive. It's exciting. You get in it. It's like starting an aircraft. These flick switches and bits and pieces. You've got to warm the engine up about 5-10 minutes before you can drive it. Very noisy, smelly. Smells fuel all the time. Fantastic. Real race car for the road. So, yeah, it's great.